Greetings, greetings, greetings. You are now tuned into the vault. Trust Christian owned, nothing control everything. Just want to thank you for tuning in live, listening to replay. Always appreciate everybody that tunes in live, listens in the replay. This is the vault, episode 518. Always appreciate everybody that tunes in live, listens in the replay. This is the vault, private trustee classes, and really excited about doing this episode. We have our workshop coming up here. Actually, in a few weeks, we've had a bunch of inquiries and people booked themselves in, got people flying in from all over the country, so and internationally. So always excited about that and thankful to have our speaker Victor outside of the vault actually come in and do some training with some families. And looking forward to it. So look forward to seeing you live and in person. If it's our first time connecting, and if it's not our first time connecting, it's definitely going to be a blast to connect with you post the workshop and at the workshop. So look forward to that. And so this is one of those episodes where we wanted to do private trustee classes. This is something that people reach out to the vault a lot and they put in the subject bar. And so we want to be able to have something that we can provide to them when they specifically say, hey, we want some classes, you want some thought process. And so we're going to break down the training to the listening audience to a degree to have a better understanding of what private trustee classes are, because so many families and individuals reach out and they whether they want a specific consultation or they want a trustee training package. The package is traditionally 3 months. A lot of people that we work with can get a good amount of information in a 12-week period. We like to liken ours to a college course. It's a continuing education credit for a school. In turn, we just do it privately for now. And in turn, what we will be doing is going over all the goodies and things that we go over as trustees and cases. And we have over 15 plus case different studies. A lot of times, a lot of people ask, well, what are we going to be doing in the training? And training actually is case studies. Whether you're reading case law, you're definitely reading some case law. You're going to be dealing with case studies. Case studies are not just success stories, but actual cases. So you're not just looking to see who's won, who's done well in trusteeship. We're also looking to see who who has won cases and how or what are those cases like and things of that nature. So trustee training involves case study. It involves some audio lessons. When you're talking about private trustee classes, those classes even entail one-on-ones where we are on the line. You may be on the line with a licensed professional. You may not be. It just depends, ladies and gentlemen. But the classes are focused and centered around individuals. So a lot of times people ask, well, does it start on its own or does it start when you start? It starts when you start, ladies and gentlemen. We have a rolling trustee basis. It is based off demand. We do work with certain number of families throughout the year. As it stands right now, we're working with a set number of families, and we're happy to work with those families. So we look forward to seeing them at the workshop, but we always open up our doors for the actual trainings to people that may be listening and they're in town or they want to fly in town, and we're always thankful for those individuals and families flying in. The address, everything on the flyer is up to date now. Really excited about that, walking into this workshop, to these classes. And so these classes are, you say, well, do I need to be in person for the class? It's preferred to be in person for the class because the training allows families to connect together. People in trust deal with people in trust, ladies and gentlemen. And that's why it's so important to be in trusteeship, is because at that point you can deal with other families that are in trusteeship. It's that simple. You'll be able to deal with other families that are in trusteeship. There's no doubt about it. Whereas if you're taking classes privately, what we found is a lot of families still or individuals still have to go out from those classes and find a team, find people that they can connect with, and so that's why we still do the classes and the workshops in person. Because even though we may have families or individuals in the training for a period of weeks or days, that's fine. They're in the training, and as they're in the training, um, they say, okay, I don't know too many people. I don't know too many families. I want to meet more families. And so that's something that we provide and we work with them in. So We definitely look forward to seeing more and more families at the workshop. We definitely look forward to connecting with the families that are going to be at the workshop. We actually have multiple families right now that have booked that have three or more people coming to the workshop. So always look forward to that. When people talk about the classes and how are they structured, first of all, ladies and gentlemen, there is no one size shoe fits all. And so when we address the classes are really tailored around the strengths and weaknesses and the values of the families. Some people can say, well, why does it need to be called a class? Well, because we're an empowerment organization. We're focused on empowering families. We don't need to have families that are tied to us forever in a negative way. Is working with families in a positive way. And that means that in the industry that we're in the environment that we're in, you're really going to get charged based off of fees. Generally, if you're in wealth management and estate management, families are getting charged fees because they don't have internal people, internal systems, internal protocols, and procedures that they have in place. They don't have quality successor programs in place, and so those are things that we help those families put in place. Is those successor programs, and even coming up with those thought processes and questions before we even get there. So that's what we work on, ladies and gentlemen, is with those families in that capacity is, uh, private trusteeship, and things of that nature. But they're very much so tailored towards the individual or the family, and moving forward in that respect. So we definitely provide a bunch of resources. They're not just focused on the structure. A lot of times they could be focused on thought process, and as well there is technical knowledge that trustees are acquiring. We're really proud to say that we've had several trustees go through the actual trustee training program and have gone and went on to law school, and we still have great relationships with them over at the vault. And we're not just talking nationally, we're talking internationally as well. So we're really thankful that we were able to connect with people that they had an interest in the content. They went from the content and they've done work with us privately, so we're able to provide classes with those individuals. And that's why it's the vault. We're able to provide content more privately than we are publicly because it is private. Ladies and gentlemen, you hear this all the time. There is no private. There is no private. Ladies and gentlemen, there is a private, and we uphold that private. We have no issues with that private. That's why it's a workshop. You have to do it in a private setting. It's not something you can just talk about over the internet. Because if you do, it would be considered like legal advice or financial advice. That's why we don't give legal advice or financial advice. When you start giving out information as though everybody can use the information, we remember back in the day, our mentors used to tell us all the time, if you don't have $1 million, you shouldn't even be in trust. That's what they used to tell us, and we used to think that was bad to tell people that. But then you find out that most people that, some people, not all, but people that sometimes don't have the they don't have the entities, or I mean they don't have the cash flow, or they don't have the assets, excuses, they don't have the assets, then they have a different thought process as opposed to somebody that has the assets. Somebody that has $1 million in assets, possibly liquid or in hard. Even when you talk about what is that, uh, for over $5 million in assets, plus $10 million plus in assets, they thinking differently about the assets. They're looking to truly protect their assets, ladies and gentlemen. They're not sitting around saying, "Oh, I don't know how to fund the trust." They completely know how to fund the trust. They just don't know how to transfer the assets. So the question that they're asking is more focused on proper transference and exchange as opposed to the families that would say, oh, well, we don't have as many assets. We don't have that many assets to actually, get going, or we don't have that many assets in general. So that's how that looks, ladies and gentlemen. Private trustee classes. Private trustee classes looks like, well, the classes are tailored towards you and your families. And we worked with families for years now. We will continue to work with families and individuals. We look forward. We've actually worked with groups, so we've done group trainings before. The group trainings are always going to be different because it's always about finding out what are the values of the group, and focusing on those values and implementing those values, as opposed to not at all. So the whole focus is to focus on the values of the individual families, putting that into a mission statement, putting that into the minutes, and making sure that the values are being upheld in trust for generations to come. That's what that looks like. That's what the classes are built around. It's not necessarily informal. It's formal, direct towards each family's individual situation. Informal meaning that there is no definitive when you're gonna get it, and that's okay. It's okay. Some people say, "Oh, do I gotta know this overnight?" No, you don't have to know it overnight. It's classes. It's a continuing education. We sit in a room with a lot of high net worth investors. We all are sitting in the same room. We're not above educating ourselves or continuing education class. We go to mastermind. What is that for? Capital raising all the time. We go to capital raising masterminds all the time, where you're in the room with other capital raisers that have raised a significant amount of money. This is how you become better, by getting around other people in classes that want to grow, that are seeking the same style of information, and are around the experts. When we talk about Victor in this particular workshop, maybe we haven't talked him up enough. This gentleman has over 25 years of business experience and international trusteeship, has dealt with court cases before, has had many securities licenses, and people say, "Oh, I wonder." Ladies and gentlemen, what are you wondering? Are you wondering if you should get going, or if you're wondering if you're going to get smarter than that individual? When it's okay to just find someone that is an expert at what they do and utilize their skill set, and get them to do their job and you do your job. So we look forward to the families and individuals that are going through the trustee training, that will continue to go through the training, and they will put the strategies and things in place for their families. We always look forward to it. So look forward to hearing that from everybody on trustee training or the private trust classes. Look forward to seeing everybody at the workshop coming up here. It's definitely going to be a classic as usual. Usually have pretty packed rooms, and so we've got quite a bit done as far as the room already so far, and we're going to make it a point to really just solidify the last little bit of it, and look forward to seeing everybody there, families, friends. Definitely looking forward to it. So appreciate Mississippi for tuning in live, listening to replay. Always appreciate Mississippi for tuning in live, listening to replay. Um, Definitely look forward to hearing from you. Christian at trustchristian.com. Look forward to hearing from you. Christian at trustchristian.com. Peace and joy.